I'm here hiking the trails at Lake Kissimmee State Park in Lake Wales, Florida. So Lake Kissimmee State Park is amazing. We decided to stay out here and camp for a while, and my husband reserved the space, and I thought, why aren't we out here? But it's out in the middle of nowhere, and it's actually fantastic. It is really, really quiet, except for the wildlife that you may be hearing right now. They've got over 13 miles of trails, and I've actually walked all of them barefoot at this point, with the exception of a couple little spots that I'll tell you about. It's all been very barefoot friendly, no sand spurs. There are a couple of spots that I do think the sand will get hot in, but so far this week it's been really rainy and overcast, and so the sand's been nice and cool. The great thing about all of these trails is they're very well maintained, and they're very well marked too. Overall, I would say these trails are pretty easy to walk. Again, no real big hills. There are some tree roots that you need to kind of watch out for, but overall, it's a nice walk in the woods. So there are three main trails in this park. The Northern Trail Loop, which has been my favorite. I saw the most wildlife, and it's just been the best as far as lots of shade and lots of different things to look at, and the least amount of bugs. And the Northern Trail is 6 miles long. There's also Gobbler's Ridge, and Gobbler's Ridge, we just walked it yesterday, me and my family, and it was actually not that pleasant. It's really neat at first. There's like this observation tower you can go up in, and that's kind of neat, and you can see Lake Kissimmee, which is I think the 3rd largest lake in Florida, and that's pretty neat. But most of the trail is out in the blazing sun, and it's just on sand, and I just didn't enjoy it that much. Also, when you get to Lake Kissimmee, there are tons of bugs. That's the part where we just turned around and left, because it was very, very marshy, and there were like a million mosquitoes, and even my husband, who never gets bit, was like, we're getting out of here. So we didn't walk that whole thing. And the last one that I did was the Buster Island Loop, and it's 6.7 miles. And there were a lot of neat things on that one. There are some amazing oak trees. This whole park is just filled with 200-plus-year-old oak trees, and they are fabulous. But one thing about the Buster Island Loop is when you get about halfway around it, it kind of gets out in a lot of sun, and there are a lot of dead trees, kind of like maybe what you're seeing behind me right now. I'm currently on the Northern Loop right now. But there were also a lot of bugs. In fact, there was one really pernicious bug in particular that got really mad at me for some reason and chased me for a very long way, and I was running as fast as I could to get away from it, and I actually lost the trail, even though it was very well marked. It's totally my fault, but I ended up on a service road, and I was able to find my way back. But just be aware that you might find a lot of bugs on Buster Island Loop. It was really hard for me to find the beginning of the trail for some reason, but basically if you do come here and you want to go on that trail, just go across the bridge, and then you'll be able to easily get on it. Wildlife I've spotted on these trails: deer. I saw a red-headed woodpecker, which I'd never seen before in the wild. Lots of armadillos, lizards. I saw 2 black snakes, lots of gopher tortoises, bald eagles, a barred owl, a really big gator at the canal, which is on the Gobbler Trail. And I saw a lot of little southern toads. They were juvenile, so they're really cute. Also, this is a great place for birding. There are over 200 different species here. So, and I've seen a lot of different little ones that I don't even know what the names of them are. Lots of butterflies too. Fun fact, I'm afraid of butterflies. But overall, if you've never been to Lake Kissimmee State Park, I would highly recommend you come. This is the first, I've lived in Florida since 2014, and this is the first place I've ever been to, I think, in Florida, where I really could not hear cars anywhere. So if you want to get out in the middle of nowhere, but still have cell phone signal, then give Lake Kissimmee a try.